Welcome back from an ad break. We are busy with our grade 12 business studies lesson under the topic, the impact of recent legislation on businesses. We're focusing on CPA as well as the NCA. CPA being the Consumer Protection Act and NCA being the National Credit Act. Right, before the break, we focused on the National Credit Act and we looked at its 5 focus areas. We also looked at the consumer rights according to the NCA. So right now we'll be looking at the Consumer Protection Act. We will look at the 5 focus areas as well as the consumer rights according to the CPA. All right, the purpose of the Consumer Protection Act, which is the first focus area. Why the Consumer Protection Act? What is it all about? Right, it promotes and protects the economic interests of consumers by providing access to information. What do we mean by information now? Right, remember, it's all about redressing the imbalances of the past. So we are saying consumers need to get the information. They can't just buy and consume things that they know nothing about. So they need to get access to information, all the access that is about the product. Remember here, with the Consumer Protection Act, we are talking about consumers and the product that they are consuming or the service that is being rendered to them. Right. Secondly, the purpose of the CPA over and above providing access to information, it ensures that consumers are not misled by suppliers of goods or services. How do you ensure that you're not being misled? By getting access to what? To the information, because once you've got information as a consumer, you are able to make an informed decision with regards to buying. So we don't want you to be informed so that you do not make what? So that you are able to make an informed decision, basically. So your decision, the decision that you're making, it needs to be informed by what? By all the information that is given. Right. So the other purpose of CPA is it empowers consumers to take legal action if their rights are not upheld. So with this legislation, again, it gives us the rights according to the CPA. Remember, we've got rights according to the NCA, but we also have rights according to what? To the CPA. So here, consumers are empowered to say, if you're not happy, if you bought a product but there was misleading information, or there was no information, there was not, it did not provide access to information, then you can take legal action. Right. So now, the first focus area, done with it. We are looking at the second focus area, which is the impact of the Consumer Protection Act. Under impact, don't forget, we are looking at what? The positives and the negatives. What are the good things about the CPA? Remember, as a business, in as much as we are also providing maybe goods or services or end services, we are also a consumer because we are buying stock from another business. We are being supplied, do you understand? So CPA is not only for consumers that are out there, but also us as well as consumers. We are also consumers in some way. Right, so what are the advantages of that? Businesses may be safeguarded from dishonest competitors. Very important. Businesses may be protected, provides protection if they are regarded as consumers. I did say that we are also consumers as well. So we are also protected by what? By this legislation. Right. Businesses may build a good image if they ensure that they do not violate consumer rights. If we make sure that all the goods that we are providing, there's information, and we ensure that consumers, when they enter our business, they have access to that information. So it builds what? It builds a good image, because even consumers, they understand that they're being treated like kings and queens because their rights are not violated. Right, we're looking at the disadvantages now of this legislation. It says here, confidential business information may become available to the competitors, because remember here, we have to include all the information, be it the ingredients as well that we used to maybe to produce whatever product that we are producing. So with that being easily accessible, it could become a threat, because now our consumers, now they understand they have information as to our ingredients, maybe in this example. Right, consumers can take advantage of a business and return goods when it is not necessary to do so. Remember, according to the rights, we're going to speak about the rights. The right speaks about the right to return goods, basically. So some consumers can take advantage of that. And sometimes when they return the goods, it can be a loss to us because we will not be able to reuse those goods that they've returned. Right, so now what are the actions that are regarded as discriminatory? Doing this, it's basically wrong. If as consumers, or I mean as businesses, we are doing this, it's regarded as discriminatory. So what are those actions? Right, denying customers proper information about products. If you deny customers information, remember we said here the purpose is for us rather to ensure that consumers have got easy access, or the information is accessible to consumers. So if we deny them proper information about the product or service, then we are being discriminatory. And if you're being discriminatory, remember, there's a punishment for that. Right, varying the quality of goods when selling in different areas. In this area, we are selling it like this, but in the other area, the quality becomes inferior. That is regarded as discriminatory. Treat everybody equally regardless of the area that they are in or situated in. So if we are being discriminatory, there are penalties. What are those penalties? For non-compliance, it means we are not compliant. A contract may be rendered void, or a fine or term of direct imprisonment may be imposed. Imagine now we are being imprisoned as a business for being discriminatory, for non-compliance. Businesses may face fines or imprisonment for a period of not exceeding 10 years. Imagine. And this is also, it portrays what? A negative image to the public for us as a business, and it's not good for the business. Government agencies may conduct audits, enact fines, or even dissolve your business entirely. So that could be the end of the business. So these are the penalties. So, but if you want to avoid the drama again, we want to avoid all of that from happening, we need to comply. How do we comply? Disclose prices of all products on sale. There should not be hidden prices. Everybody, remember when we said the right to information, or information should be easily accessible, this also includes what? It includes prices. It needs to be disclosed. Provide adequate training to staff on the CPA. Adequate could mean sufficient or enough, right? So provide enough training to staff on the CPA. They need to know, the staff needs to know about the rights of consumers as well. Right, so like I said, these are the 5 focus areas. We've covered them. We now need to move on to the last part, which is what? The rights according to the CPA. Right, I will touch briefly on them because you do them a lot in classes. Right, so consumer rights, we've got the right to choose, privacy and confidentiality, fair and honest dealings, information about the product and agreement. So here we are just listing them, but you will see we're just going to explain them just now. Fair marketing, accountability from the supplier, reasonable and terms and conditions, equality in the consumer market. Right, so now let's move on. Return goods and claim refund, complain. Right, let's try and explain them quickly. Right to choose, remember we spoke about information and being able to make informed decisions. So consumers need to have that enough information so that they can choose suppliers or goods. They can shop around for the best prices because the information is there, prices are being disclosed. So that is the right to choose. That is the first one. Right, there's a right to privacy and confidentiality. Consumers have the right to stop or restrict unwanted direct marketing. So consumers have got the right, you can't force them. They've got a right to privacy and confidentiality. We need to respect those rights. Consumers can object to unwanted promotional electronic emails or telesales. So they can object to it and say, we don't want that. You cannot force them, you cannot coerce them. The third one, right to fair and honest dealing. Suppliers may not use physical force or harass the customers. So meaning the dealings needs to be done fairly and honestly. Suppliers may not give misleading or false information. So you need to be honest in your business dealings. Then we've got the right to information or agreements. Contracts and agreements should be in plain language and easy to understand. Again, they're not saying in English, but they're saying in a plain language and easy to understand. So there should not be any ambiguous words or any terms that are used that it's not easy to understand. Businesses should label the products and trade descriptions correctly. Right to fair marketing. Businesses should not mislead consumers on pricing or benefits or use of goods. Do not exaggerate the merits of the product. Basically, consumers can also cancel the purchases made through direct marketing within the 5 working days or cooling off period. So it's within their rights to do that. If they're not happy, then because this is what fair marketing, they have a right to cancel that. Right, the right to accountability. Right, consumers have the right to be protected in labor agreements. So with labor, you understand that you are paying some money upfront before you can actually own the products. So they have the right to be protected in such agreements. Businesses should honor credit vouchers and prepaid services. Right, we're going to look at the right to reasonable terms and conditions. Businesses should provide consumers with written notices of clauses that may limit consumer rights. Businesses may not market or sell goods at unfair prices. Make sure that whatever that the prices are reasonable. Right to equality. Businesses should not limit access to goods and services. Businesses may not vary the quality of their goods to different customers. To say, customer one, because I'm in this neighborhood, I'm going to give you quality goods, but because I'm in the other neighborhood, and then I'm going to give them inferior quality. No, everybody should be treated the same because customers are the same. Goods that are defective may be replaced by the supplier. This is the right to return goods and claim a refund. Faulty items may be returned for a full refund, but remember we said the disadvantage is that some customers can take advantage of that and return goods even when it's unnecessary to do so. So the right says you've got the right to return goods and claim a refund. You've got a right to complain as well. Consumers may use various methods to complain about poor quality goods or services. They can complain via customer care desks or consumer hotlines. Now, the other way to complain, they also complain on the social medias, which has got a negative impact on our business because now it can trend and everybody will now know that our business is known for bad things, so which is not good for our business. All right, so we have covered enough on the Consumer Protection Act. As mentioned, this topic, we were covering NCA and also CPA, National Credit Act and the Consumer Protection Act. We looked at the 5 focus areas, and over and above the 5 focus areas, we also looked at the rights respectively. We looked at the rights according to the NCA and the rights according to the CPA. It's very important that you understand and you are able to distinguish between the two. Right, so we've come to the end of our lesson. From me, Ms. Mabue, I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.